Hi, my name is Laurelle. I am 43 years old. I live in Cape Town and I teach grade 3 boys who, as you can imagine, keep me very well busy and exhausted and entertained and on my toes. Yeah, I love my job. What do I like to do for fun? What do I do in my free time? Well, the weeks are very wrapped up in school, work really hard, work at a school that is quite demanding of your time, which is great. I love my job, so I love being there. In my free time, I love the outdoors. So I have a little dog, Frankie. She's like my little bestie, and I love to explore the outdoors, going for runs. We run in the forest quite a lot, in the mountains, the beach, anything outdoors. And living in Cape Town is a great place for that. My feelings around surgery and undergoing a mastectomy so I'm very much in the middle of this journey still. When I walked into my surgeon's rooms right at the beginning in February, my first thoughts were, if you need to do a double mastectomy, do what you need to do. Like for me, saving my life and getting rid of whatever was causing the cancer, there were no questions about it. I didn't even really think about it. There were no emotions to it. I'm very choleric like that. Whatever needs to be done, and then let's just do it. At this point, I've still got a month left of chemo. I see my surgeon next week again, and I'm starting the whole cycle of tests again to see what the chemo has done and to decide what surgery we're going to do. At this point, it doesn't look like we're going to be doing a mastectomy. It looks like they are aiming for a lumpectomy. So you don't really think about it too much. Well, I haven't really thought about it too much until you really have to think about it, if that makes sense. So you gung ho and you're like, let's remove these things, don't need them, until you actually start to think about what that means and the scars that get left behind and your body never being the same again. And there is definitely a grief that comes with that. Just in terms of I'm triple positive, so in the next couple of months I will go on to hormones to kick me into menopause, and there's definitely changes that come with your body with all these hormones and these things that they are doing to you. And there is a grief that comes to what you knew life as before, and life will never be the same again. And you will never be the same again. And physically, you'll never be the same again. So, yeah, there is a grief that comes with that. But it comes hand in hand with this passion and this will to live. And that whatever needs to happen to make that happen. So you got this double whammy of feelings that you're trying to navigate the whole time. At the moment, I'm very much in that anxiety moment again, a bit of PTSD. So you can imagine when you are first diagnosed, it just is this roller coaster of one appointment after the next. And it's all very overwhelming because the anxiety is extreme and you don't know what's coming and you don't understand it all and you're trying to learn so much. And then you go into chemo and there's a bit of a lull where you feel safe because you feel like you know what you're doing. You know your appointments, you know your treatment plan, and you're just doing the next treatment to the next treatment to the next treatment. And it feels safe. And now as the chemo is heading to an end, those appointments all starting again so that they can plan your surgery, and all those feelings of anxiety start coming up again because there's an unknown again, I suppose, and you're not sure what's coming next, and they can only plan the radiation once they know what they find in surgery and what are they going to find in surgery. And all those feelings come up again. And then what surgery are they going to choose and how are you going to feel once the surgery's happened and what are you going to be left with once the surgery's happened. So I'm very much in that unknown. With just a lot of thoughts. So trying not to think about it too much, I suppose, for me. And just resting in the fact that I do have incredible doctors and that they will make good decisions for me, that they're not going to do anything silly, and that they are the best and that I can trust them. I think I'm in that space at the moment. Yeah, so concerns and fears about your femininity, or a sense of loss for your womanhood. There's definitely a sense of loss. It's just a sense of loss for your life as you knew it. Your whole perspective just shifts so radically, and you've got this enormity of emotions coming at you from one extreme to the next, from this gratitude for living to just, if you need to remove whatever you need to remove, do it. What's going to be left behind? What scars? What are you going to look like? All those things run through your head. But your sadness that your body potentially won't ever look the same again. Unknown is always a big fear factor for me. So what am I going to look like? What scars am I going to be left with? Is there going to be a hole? Are they going to have to remove stuff? What are they going to find when they do whatever they do in surgery? That just really wraps up all your feelings. You just get totally wrapped up with all these questions and these unknowns. So I'm there rather than now having to have dealt with it and you sitting looking at the scars. I'm still waiting to see what scars I'm going to be left with. But another extreme is I do often think I'm so glad that I live in a time where they know so much. So your plastic surgeon can do such incredible things. In the old days, they would just cut and you would be left with nothing. Whereas now you have options. You have options to have your breasts rebuilt and less chance of massive scarring, and they can just do such incredible things. So I'm very grateful that I live in a time like this where they do know so much, and not in the old days where they knew way less and you were left. They didn't even really consider your emotions about your womanhood. Now all of those things are very much still considered. So I feel very safe in that and just waiting out to see. I suppose I will face emotions and feelings when surgery actually happens. So this range of emotions that you feel, gosh, nobody can prepare you for that. And I'm a loud feeler, so I've experienced emotions in my life, but I've never experienced emotions like this in my life. It was overwhelming. And I use the word was because I've come to a real sense of peace. But gosh, if I think about the beginning, the, the anxiety, it was like a tsunami of emotions that just came at me. They were so incredibly loud. And 1 second I would be fine, and the next second I would be crying. I remember saying to my friends, I can't make plans and I can't tell you if I can see you, or because I just don't know how I'm going to be in that moment. I don't know what I'm going to wake up and feel. And it wasn't even just a feeling for the day. It would be, I would get to school, I would be fine, I'd be gung-ho for the day, and I would walk into assembly and I'd have to walk out because I'd just be so overcome with emotions. I just needed to cry. So it was intense, to say the least. I would 1 minute have no tears and the next minute be crying my eyes out. And I just had absolutely no idea what I'd be feeling. I drive the M3 every day on the way to school, and I used to sometimes wonder what people next to me in the traffic would think, because I would be bawling my eyes out. And they must have wondered what on earth was happening to me. So I'm not really afraid of feelings. I've like I said in the beginning, I've always been a loud feeler, so not afraid of feeling feelings. So I didn't try and hide them, and I think that was important for me. I didn't try and hide all these feelings, or I didn't try and distract myself from them. I really just faced them head on and felt them, and allowed them to wash over me when they came, and allowed myself to cry and scream and whatever I needed to do to feel those feelings so that they could move through me, and that I didn't hide from them and then they came out later on. And once I had spent some time feeling them, I really felt like I needed to get to a place of peace. That being in this high fear, high anxiety, high emotional state wasn't going to be helpful on my journey of healing. That I really needed to try and get to a place where I could be calm and just go with this. So that was my journey in the beginning. To be honest, like when you're facing the potential of death, when you're facing death eyeball to eyeball, it's, for me, became a very spiritual journey. I needed to get to a place of safety where I felt calm and I felt safe and I felt like I could, like something was looking after me. I suppose a bit like you, the first question where, what did it feel like? What was your childhood like? I needed to go back to that space where I just felt safe, that I was free and that something was looking after me. So my faith became an integral part of my journey, and it is, of my walk, and trusting God that He had this and promises that have been spoken over my life, that holding on to those and trusting that He has got this. And yeah, and taking my eye off the emotions and the feelings and the what ifs and just resting in a space of God has got this, God will take me through this. And that doesn't come easily all the time. It's a constant working towards that, of bringing me back to a place of peace, to allow me to be able to breathe air again. Because, yeah, it was like taking in oxygen was hard in the beginning because the emotions were so loud. And I needed to come to a place where I could breathe again. I still have my moments when I panic and fear tries to rear its head, but I try not to give it so much airtime. Try and take my eye off that storm as such, that storm of what's going on and the what ifs and the unknowns, and to just acknowledge that this is a storm and this is hard and my feelings are validated and are okay and are normal, but that I have a higher power, I suppose, God, who is looking after me and who has got this, and I need to trust Him. So what advice would I give to other women who have undergone mastectomy, struggle with body image or self-esteem issues? Well, I don't think I have any advice yet. I feel like I'm the one who's still needing the advice on this. But at the moment, I just feel such gratitude to be alive. Your whole perspective on life changes, and I'm quite grateful for that. I'm quite grateful for the opportunity to see life in a different light and to live the next season of my life in a different way, because my focus will be so different. Yeah, I mean, struggling with body image and self-esteem issues, that's what we do as women all the time, right? And maybe when you go through this near-death experience, I don't know, I'm hoping that those things become trivial, but maybe they won't. I'll find out in the next month and a half when I have to go through surgery what feelings I'll feel. But life is beautiful, and I'm glad to be part of it. And whatever scars I get left with, I'm grateful to be alive.